Here's an example of a word problem that you might encounter as a pharmacist. You're given a medication order that says give the patient 7.5 milligrams of warfarin per day for a week. So there's two things that you have to decide. One is how many tablets should the patient take per day? And how many tablets should you stuff in the envelope for the patient to take home so they can take a complete course of medication? And you look on the shelf and you've got 5 milligram warfarin tablets, and each of them are scored down the middle. And that means that you can break these kind of tablets in half very cleanly. So you can tell them to take tablets to the nearest half a tablet. You can reasonably tell them to break the tablets in half. All right, so how do we set this up? They're just unit conversion problems. Let's do A. You want to know how many tablets per day. So what you're going to try to do is figure out tablets per day. All right, that's a fraction. So it would be nice when you're looking for your starting point, which is what you're going to do next, to try and look for a fraction. What kind of fraction? Well, you want to look for one that has an amount of drug on top and a time on the bottom. Now look around for some information like that. If you look at the medication order, there is an amount of drug per day given there. And how about we use that? 7.5 milligrams per day. Now I like that because the time on the bottom is the same in the start and the finish, so there's nothing much I need to do for that. All I got to do to finish the problem is find some kind of link between milligrams of drug and tablets. So I need to know something about how many milligrams are in a tablet. And I do have that information. I know that one tablet weighs 5 milligrams. So that's my link. One tablet is 5 milligrams of warfarin. There's my roadmap. Let's turn it into a calculation. Now what I have to do to turn it into a calculation is turn that link into a conversion factor, a fraction. Now I want to get rid of milligrams and get tablets. So what am I going to put on the bottom here? If you put milligrams on the bottom, the milligrams will cancel out. And if you put milligrams on the bottom, you have to have a 5 sitting next to it. And the one tablet is going to go on the other side. And that's it. How do I know that's it? Because if I do my dimensional analysis, which is just looking at which units cancel and which units are left, I've got the milligrams canceling out, and I'm left with tablets per day, which is what I was after in the first place. So I can pick up my calculator and calculate 7.5 divided by 5, and it'll be 1.5, right? So I'm going to tell the patient you got to take a tablet and a half every day to meet the medication order, to do what the doctor is telling them to do. Okay, now the next thing I have to do is figure out how many tablets should I put in the envelope for the patient to take home so that the patient has enough medication for a week. Well, this is another unit conversion problem. What am I after? What's my target? How many tablets do I want? So really in B here, I am trying to figure out how many tablets. And what am I trying to turn into tablets? I'm really trying to take a 1-week course of medication, 1 week at a time, and I'm going to try to figure out how many tablets will cover that time. So I have a time that I'm trying to link to tablets. Now the critical link, the relationship that is going to make the whole problem, solve the whole problem, is going to be some kind of a link between an amount of drug and a time. Now, I could go back and use the 7.5 milligrams per day. That's a link between amount of drug and time. But wouldn't it be easier to use this, which is also a link between an amount of drug and time? But why is it easier to use this than this? Because it's got tablets in it, and that's what I'm after. So I can save myself a lot of work by using this. You could make it work using that, but let's use this. So this is the link between days and tablets. Now I don't have days anywhere in my roadmap yet, so I'm going to drop it in. And the link says 1.5 tablets is 1 day. Okay, now I need a link between week and days, and that's really easy. I know a week is 7 days. And there's my roadmap. I've got everything I need there. So now all I have to do is turn this into a problem. 1 week. I'm going to turn this into a conversion factor, and if I've got weeks up here and I want to get rid of weeks, I have to put weeks down there. I have no choice about that. And on the other side there's 7 days, so 7 days has to go on the top. See, once you have the roadmap, the rest of it is kind of mechanical. So I got rid of the weeks there, right? There's a week on top and a week on the bottom, so there are no more weeks. I've got days right now. And I want to get rid of days in the next conversion factor. So I know days should go on the opposite side of the fraction bar. And there's a 1 sitting in front of the day here, and there's 1.5 tablets on top. So I can pick up my calculator and I can say 7 times 1.5, or do it in my head. It's easy enough. 1.5 tablets. Days canceled out. The only units that I'm left with are tablets. So I'm pretty confident that that's what I need. Now, what about significant figures? Well, use common sense, not significant figures here. You need this to the nearest half of a tablet, right? Now, I don't know if I'd put 10.5 tablets into the bag. It depends on how expensive this stuff is. You want to put the smallest, just the amount that's needed to keep the cost of the order down. If it wasn't too expensive, I don't know, I'd probably put 11 tablets in, just in case. Or you could put a couple of extra ones in there, I don't know. But 10.5 tablets is exactly what they need to take the 1 week course of medication. Now you try it. I've got a problem that's something like this down below. And set it up something like what I did here.